Hello, this is my slorkeology presentation. I chose to investigate a piece without a name. I looks like it's simply called Live Granularizer, and as the name suggests, it is built around recording sounds live and running them through a granular synthesis algorithm to presumably distort them in interesting ways. It has two main chuck files, a conductor, which is basically an OSC server that sends kind of commands to the players, which are running this live granularizer script locally, which does things like record sound and allow the players to kind of distort them. The piece is also conducted with the assistance of a processing script, which doesn't run, but presumably shows the players scores that look kind of like this. I imagine you would kind of see this as your full screen, and it would sort of scroll to the side. And then processing kind of move around. So yeah, that's the basic idea, basic sort of technological overview of the piece. It has a README as well, which kind of gives you some insight into how it actually works. The README basically just tells you how to set up the piece, what the user interface means. It looks like they had some sort of maybe this was running in Chuck or something, or Chuck would listen to these sort of commands to allow you to enable the game track, change the volume, change the play rate, things like that. And then it also had kind of an explanation of some of those commands we saw in the score earlier, things like tap drum your fingertips on the laptop lid, sing a random note, say a particular word, snap, whistle, kind of stuff like that. The conductor, kind of taking a deeper dive into what actually happened when you play this piece, the conductor basically connected to all 12 of the Slork stations, which, as an aside, I'm assuming this means this was a final piece at the end of the quarter. It was hard to tell from the SVN repository, but that's my guess. Anyway, so what does this conductor do? It connects to all 12 of the Slork stations, and then it sends them kind of these OS messages, which presumably instruct them to do things like press record and type, press play once G2 and G, stuff like that. There are 3 sections which run in parallel, doing roughly similar things. On the granularizer side, it's a lot of this is kind of user interface code, but the main things to take away are they're using game tracks to kind of control the granular synthesis process in the user interface, and they're using Lisas. Here's the Lisa with kind of a lot of kind of scaffolding to do the actual granular synthesis. Yeah, so what else? I chose to research this piece mostly because I know Audrey and was curious to see what she ended up doing for this Slurk piece, back in 2013 when she was whatever year. She was like probably a sophomore then. Yeah, so what else? My artistic impression, or I guess analysis. I wasn't actually able to get this to run. The conductor crashes when it tries to do the OS setup. The granularizer actually runs. If you press start, it goes and it spawns a bunch of shreds. They don't actually do anything though. But hey, it's worth a shot. The processing script does not run. You get kind of a fundamental. I'm assuming this is like a versioning issue. This is 5-year-old code. But anyways, if you were to run it, I'm assuming the kind of impression you would get would be very dependent on the players. I think the musician, since this is sort of live recording process, a lot of the sort of textures and soundscapes that get created are they're entirely created by the performers, so they have a lot of control, I guess, and can kind of very profoundly change what the piece is like, what it's like, since they kind of literally make it up. On the other side, kind of on the opposite side, the conductor is kind of defining very strictly, very kind of rigidly, sort of a priori, what the kind of general shape, the form of the song will be, because they can kind of tell the players like at this point in the piece you get typing sounds. So it would be a very different piece, I would say, if the conductor just told the players to improvise the whole time. Um, Instead, you kind of get this sort of narrative arc, presumably, which kind of provides the sort of artistic vision of the piece, whereas the players appear to just be kind of making the sounds, making the sort of substance of the piece, but not really contributing to the whole artistic narrative of it. You can kind of view it as the computer playing the humans for once. So, all right, that's my 2 cents, my analysis of the piece. I will see you guys on Wednesday.